I grew up in a family that was around music all the time. My dad is a musician. He's a bass player, and he plays in bands, and he travels all over the world. So I was constantly around it as a child, and I started, really knowing that I could sing when I was about 9 years old.
Okay.
We sang at the football game. No, it wasn't a football. Sorry, it was Padres, San Diego Padres.
Oh, nice.
We went out there and we sang it together. So, and I was 9 years old. So just from then on, it's just like I got so much recognition, and I started, doing YouTube, and it just took off from there.
But when did you find that point in your life? Was it right when you were 9 that you said, "This is what makes me happy," or is it just kind of welcome you at that moment? When was that point where you're like, "This is what I want to do. This is my calling"?
It was actually someone reached out to me who was very sick in the hospital and only had a couple years to live.
Okay.
And said that every time that they were in the hospital, they was always listening to me and my music and watching my videos, and it just helped them get through, their hard times in there. And that just right then and there, I knew like this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah, because it just touched me.
Right. And one of the main reasons why we bring artists to the channel is because music empowers you so much.
Right.
Like you just mentioned, you could be in a terrible depression, but music can completely change that for me.
Right.
Being such a good thing. And talking about a little bit of the subject, you mentioned that you also face a little bit of anxiety. Tell me, when does that kick in? How has it affected your life? Has it been a positive out of it? Has it only been negative? What?
Most negatives and positives. As a child, I played sports, and I knew I had anxiety when I would travel other places for games and tournaments, and being away from home really just caused me to just have that anxiety, or just that social anxiety, being around people I was unfamiliar with,
and now you're around a whole bunch of people.
Right.
So how does that kind of fit into place now?
It still kind of affects me. People are like, "Wow, you're so talented and you have such a great personality. Why are you feel this way?" And I don't know. It's hard to explain. When I get into a room full of people that I am unfamiliar with, I just start to just break down.
It's funny. There's a Mexican artist that plays in a band called Café Tacuba, and that guy, if you see him in a room, he's the guy that's in the corner, completely quiet.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to be bugged by anybody. When he gets on stage, it's a whole. I mean, it's a whole different person. I mean, the energy, and then when he walks out of that stage, it's like a total 180.
Right.
He just completely not really into photos, not really into that. I mean, he does it because it's part of the gig, but as soon as he's done of that, he just goes back to his little corner. So.
Same thing with me. As soon as I get on stage, it's like it all goes away.
It all goes away.
Yeah.
So would you say that's your main therapy? That's your main goal.
Absolutely.
That's your main medicine for it.
Yeah.
When you get it?
Singing, performing in front of people. Just anytime I pick up a microphone.
It just changes.
Yeah.
So you're really coming up right now, doing all kinds of things. People are hitting you left and right. Yeah. Before all this was happening, what was the questions that you had? Was there a moment you said, "Am I doing right? Am I going the right path? Should I do this?" The industry has changed so much.
Right.
The labels are offering completely different deals than back in the days, independent. Like all these questions, I'm sure they came about. So I think it would be important to the listener, the viewer, to kind of understand, because I'm sure there's a lot of other kids and young people or anybody that wants to follow their passion regarding music or any creative outlet.
Right.
So when those questions came up, like what was one of the things that?
Well, at first it's like, you know what you want to do. You want to be a singer, and then people kind of offer you this and that, or try to put you down and say that you can't make it. And just for me, all I've ever known to do is just be myself.
Right.
A lot of industry people want to change you. They want to say, well, we're going to give you this deal if you want to be this person, and that's not what I'm trying to do. So just the main thing for me, to be able to succeed in this business, is just to be myself. And then once I started to just, those no's started to bounce off my back. I hear no that left and right. I can count. Like I said, I did a post. I can count on my hands and feet how many times I've heard the word no, and just let it bounce off, and just stay true to yourself, and just be who you are, and you'll succeed.